In the heart of the desert, surrounded by sand and sun, stand some of the most awe-inspiring structures in the world, the Pyramids of Egypt. These ancient wonders have captured the imagination of people for centuries and continue to fascinate us to this day. So, let's take a journey back in time and explore some of the most interesting and curious facts about the Pyramids of Egypt. The pyramids were built over 4,500 years ago, during the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt. They were constructed as tombs for pharaohs and their consorts, and were believed to help the rulers ascend to the afterlife. The most famous pyramids are located in Giza, just outside of Cairo. The three largest and most well-known pyramids are the Great Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khufu, and the Pyramid of Menkaure. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is the largest of the three, standing at a height of 147 meters. It's estimated that the pyramid contains over 2 million stone blocks, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons. That's a whole lot of heavy lifting. But how did the ancient Egyptians manage to build these incredible structures without modern machinery? Well, they used a combination of brute force and ingenuity. The blocks were cut from nearby quarries using copper chisels and wooden mallets, and then transported to the construction site using sledges and rollers. The blocks were then hoisted into place using ramps and a complex system of levers and pulleys. But that's not the only mystery surrounding the pyramids. There's also the question of how the ancient Egyptians aligned them so precisely with the stars. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, for example, is aligned to true north with an accuracy of just a few arc minutes. How did they do it? Some experts believe that the Egyptians used a sighting tool called a merkit to align the pyramid with the stars. The interior of the pyramids is just as fascinating as the exterior. The pharaohs were buried with all sorts of treasures and offerings, including food, jewelry, and even boats. The walls of the burial chambers were often covered in hieroglyphics and painted scenes depicting the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Oh boy, let me tell you, the inside of the pyramids is like nothing you've ever seen before. I mean, sure, they're impressive from the outside, but once you step inside, it's a whole different ball game. First of all, let's talk about the size. These things are massive. And I'm not just talking about the exterior. The interior chambers are equally mind-boggling. I mean, who needs a mansion when you can have a pyramid? Am I right? But it's not just the size that's impressive. It's what's inside that counts. And boy, is there some crazy stuff in there. We're talking walls covered in hieroglyphics, intricate carvings, and even some seriously impressive artwork. But let's get to the real meat and potatoes of the pyramid, the burial chamber. This is where the pharaohs were laid to rest, surrounded by all sorts of treasures and offerings. And when I say treasures, I mean treasures. We're talking gold, jewels, fancy clothes, you name it, it's in there. And let's not forget about the mummies. Yes, the mummies. These are the preserved remains of the pharaohs themselves. And let me tell you, they are not a pretty sight. I mean, would you look your best after being dead for 4,500 years? I think not. But hey, at least the mummies are in good company. The walls of the burial chamber are covered in scenes depicting the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride. We're talking giant snakes, ferocious beasts, and even a few crocodiles thrown in for good measure. But the real question is, how did the pharaohs get all this stuff in there in the first place? I mean, there are no elevators or escalators in the pyramid. Did they just carry it all up the stairs? And how did they even know where to put everything? Did they have a diagram or something? And speaking of stairs, let's talk about those for a minute. The staircases in the pyramid are steep, narrow, and winding. It's like something out of a horror movie. One wrong step and you could be tumbling down to your doom. I mean, I'm all for a little adventure, but this is taking it to the extreme. But hey, at least you don't have to worry about getting lost. The inside of the pyramid is like a maze. It's like they were trying to keep people out or something. I mean, who needs a security system when you have a labyrinthine burial chamber? And let's not forget about the curses. Yes, the curses. Legend has it that anyone who disturbs the pharaoh's resting place will be cursed with bad luck for the rest of their day. I mean, I'm all for a little superstition, but this is just taking it too far. Can't we all just get along? But despite all the treasures that were buried with the pharaohs, many of the pyramids were looted over the years. In fact, the only intact royal burial chamber ever discovered in a pyramid was that of Tutankhamun, discovered by archaeologist Howard Carter in 1922. But the pyramids aren't just a thing of the past. They continue to fascinate and inspire people to this day, and have even become a popular tourist attraction. Millions of people visit the pyramids each year, marveling at the ancient structures and learning more about the history and culture of Egypt. In fact, the pyramids have even made their way into popular culture. From movies and TV shows to video games and books, the pyramids have become a symbol of ancient mystery and intrigue. So, there you have it, a brief history and some fascinating curiosities about the pyramids of Egypt. These incredible structures have stood the test of time and continue to captivate us with their beauty, mystery, and history.